No matter how fast you run, you can never catch someone else's dream. Kylian Mbappe's ultimate dream was to play for Real Madrid and replicate the path of his childhood idol, Cristiano Ronaldo. His entire childhood bedroom in Bondi was plastered with posters of the Portuguese forward. When you spend your early years looking up at an idol, knowing that their legend is an untouchable universe, you can still race toward your goal at the speed of light. You are born into the cramped confines of the Parisian suburb of Bondy, where your family has nothing except bare walls and endless anxieties about tomorrow. In Kylian Mbappe's childhood, there was no room for fairy tales, no romance. The gray concrete blocks of Bondy, the smell of dampness, cracked asphalt, and the eternal fear of ending up as a nobody. His parents gave everything. His father, a coach, drove him across the field day and night until the last drop of sweat, while his mother, an athlete, taught him how to fight for his place in the sun. But when you are only 6 years old, you step out onto the broken asphalt of a cracked courtyard, touch an old ball with your foot, and suddenly realize what no one else sees. You are faster than all of them. Bondy was never a rich town. People came here from other countries in search of at least some hope, with empty hands and a perpetual fear of tomorrow. People didn't buy expensive toys here. They survived. But when your father is the coach of a tiny local club, the pitch becomes your only home, and the ball an extension of your hands. At 6 years old, he was already playing with those older than him. At 10, during the halftime of a lost match, when dead silence filled the locker room, this child stood up and said something that made hearts stop. "Don't worry, I'll get the ball and score." And he stepped onto the pitch, dribbled past one, then a second, a third, and coolly sent the ball into the back of the net, keeping his promise. He was so fast and talented that rumors about the incredible boy from Bondy spread far beyond his hometown, until this whisper reached the doors of Europe's greatest clubs. Scouts from Real Madrid, Chelsea, and Bayern personally came to this humble corner to see with their own eyes a talent the likes of which France hadn't seen since Zinedine Zidane. Sometimes, a single journey can change your entire life. Kylian was only 13 years old. A boy from the small town of Bondy arrived in Madrid, where he was welcomed by none other than Zinedine Zidane. Not by reporters, not by club staff. One of the greatest footballers of all time was personally waiting for an ordinary teenager in the parking lot. As Kylian got into the car, he was so nervous that he quietly asked, "Do I need to take off my shoes?" Zidane smiled and laughed. In that moment, Mbappé realized that his dream was real. Then came a tour of the training ground, a chance to watch the first team practice, and a meeting with the man whose posters had covered the walls of his bedroom for years, Cristiano Ronaldo. For any child, it would have been the happiest day of their life. But when the family returned home, his parents said no to Real Madrid. They chose not the biggest name, but the best future for their son. They wanted Kylian to grow up as a person before growing up as a footballer, and that decision changed everything. A few years later, the skinny teenager made his debut for AS Monaco, becoming the youngest first-team player in the club's history. While others dreamed of sports cars and luxury, he lived in a small room at the training center and said something people would never forget: "I don't have a car. It's not a problem." Because his real dream was never a Ferrari. It was always the football pitch. In the summer of 2018, the entire football world held its breath. The FIFA World Cup is the tournament every child dreams of playing in the first time they kick a ball. It's where legends are born, dreams are shattered, and history remembers the greatest forever. Among all the world's biggest stars was one 19-year-old boy from the small town of Bondy. Just a few years earlier, he had been taking an excited photo with Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, he was walking onto the pitch to prove that his journey was no accident. Then came one of the greatest matches in World Cup history, the round of 16 between France and Argentina. Mbappé tore through Argentina's defense with breathtaking speed, scored twice, and carried France into the quarterfinals. They defeated Uruguay in the quarterfinals and then overcame Belgium in the semifinals. The stage was set. The World Cup final, France against Croatia. Mbappe stepped onto the pitch without fear. In the second half, he fired a powerful low shot into the corner of the net to make it 4-1. At just 19 years old, he became only the second teenager in football history to score in a World Cup final. The first was Pelé. After the match, reporters immediately began comparing Mbappe to the Brazilian legend. For many players, those comparisons would have changed everything, but not Kylian. He simply smiled and said, "It's flattering to be second to Pelé." And maybe that's the real secret behind his journey? Not his speed, not even his extraordinary talent, but the humility of the boy from Bondy, the same boy who, sitting beside Zinedine Zidane years earlier, still couldn't believe that his dream was finally becoming reality. Mbappé, the man who outran everyone except his own fate. 38 kilometers per hour. Remember that number. It's not just speed. It's a death sentence for any defender who dares stand in his way. 2019, Monaco versus PSG. Mbappe picks up the ball on his own half, and a second later, nobody can see him anymore. Defenders sprint with everything they have. Useless. The gap between them doesn't close, it grows. It grows with every stride, until the figure on screen shrinks into a dot. Goal. The only man faster than him on this planet is Usain Bolt. The difference, a mere 6 kilometers per hour. But Bolt just runs. This man runs while controlling the ball, beating defenders, making decisions at a speed that should strip a person of their mind. He became the club's all-time leading scorer with over 250 goals. A living legend. This guy built up so much momentum, he was simply unstoppable. He came to Qatar in 2022, determined to take home yet another World Cup title. In just a few moments, we'll step onto the pitch at Lusail Stadium, the biggest match of the 21st century. A kid from the modest neighborhood of Bondy, squaring off against his own teammate and PSG friend. Against the man he saw in the dressing room every single day. Kylian Mbappe versus Lionel Messi. The 2022 World Cup final between Argentina and France is already being hailed as the greatest in football history. For the first 70 minutes, Argentina completely dominated the pitch. Lionel Messi opened the scoring from the penalty spot, and Angel Di Maria doubled the lead after a picture-perfect counterattack, making it 2-0. The fate of the trophy seemed sealed. But France had Kylian Mbappe. In just 2 minutes, Mbappe scores twice. Just let that sink in. 2 minutes, 2 goals, pulling off an unbelievable comeback. The game went into extra time. In the 108th minute, Messi put Argentina back in front. But with just 3 minutes left on the clock, Mbappe leveled it again. 3-3 and a hat trick. 3 goals in a World Cup final. Something that hadn't happened in 56 years. The match went to a penalty shootout. Mbappe stepped up to the spot and ice-coldly slotted it home. Argentina scored theirs. And when the ball hit the net for the final time, it was Team Argentina that lifted the trophy. And then came the final image of that night. Not Messi holding the trophy high, but Kylian alone on the bench, his jersey pulled over his face, hiding the tears that the whole world already saw. 3 goals, the Golden Boot, top scorer of the tournament, hero of the match, and yet still the loser. That night, he learned something speed could never teach him. You can do absolutely everything right and still lose it all. Some defeats are forgotten the moment the final whistle blows. Others leave a scar on your heart forever. Kylian gave absolutely everything. Scoring a hat trick in a World Cup final and still losing is a personal tragedy unlike anything modern football has ever seen. He wasn't just waiting for 2026, he was preparing to take back what fate had stolen from him. For 4 long years, he carried that ghost with him. Across the stadiums of the United States, France marched confidently through the tournament, leaving no chance for their opponents in the knockout stage. Mbappe kept breaking records, leading his team from the front and winning the Golden Boot once again. But football doesn't believe in perfect endings. 2026 FIFA World Cup semi-final, France versus Spain. It seemed like the perfect moment. From the very first minutes, the Spanish side imposed their tough, unforgiving game. Everything was decided in a short, dramatic stretch. First, an absurd penalty awarded against France. Then a second conceded goal, and the match completely slipped away. Mbappe ran, fumed, and tried to break through that Spanish concrete single-handedly, but a comeback just wasn't in the cards. With the final whistle, as the Spaniards jumped for joy, Kylian simply stood frozen in the middle of the pitch, completely alone, staring blankly into space. The fastest footballer on the planet gave everything down to the last drop of sweat, only to find himself once again a painful single step away from the summit. And this raw human helplessness truly aches the heart. I put my absolute heart and soul into this video, and I'm so happy to create content for you. Thank you so much for all your likes and subscriptions. Let me know in the comments who you'd like me to cover in the next video. Thank you.